Okay, testing, testing. Can anybody hear me? Thank you. Okay, Heather will be joining us very shortly. If you've got questions in the meantime, I'm quite happy to chat. We don't officially start for another 12 minutes. Ryan, hi.
Hi. Sorry.
How are you doing?
Not too bad. I was just having a look at the study activities for this week and the introduction part that you've got for it.
Yeah.
You talk about SES as being kind of problematic. Is that kind of a case of it's not all, it makes it seem very general?
I'm just trying to find where this is so I don't. So which have you got a number?
Study activity introduction to diversity and equity, week 6.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm opening it up now so I can see what we're looking at.
End of the third paragraph.
Okay. Oh, okay. I think the issue here is that it's very broad. So just using a postcode may capture an area that has very diverse levels of income within it.
Yeah.
And so it's a rather rough tool.
Yeah, just a very generalized way to look at anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
That's the issue.
Was just curious what your thoughts were there. That's all.
Yeah, no, I think that's it. It's just it's a rather it's a blunt instrument, as often is the case.
Okay, thanks.
All right, cheers. I'm gonna give Heather the power to be the host. I'm making you the host, Heather. Sorry? I'm good. I'm good. You are now the host, Heather.
Thank you. Let me just. Okay.
Unknown caller.
Hello.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Hope you're doing well. There's about 49 of us here already.
You can't at the moment. I'm in work. She's at home.
I might just mute Peter. There we go. So hi, everybody. We will start at 9 o'clock. Thanks for being here early. That's fabulous. If you've got any general questions that don't relate to the content, feel free to put your hand up and I'm happy to answer those. So, or we can wait till 9 o'clock. I don't mind. I hope you're all doing well today and looking forward to having a couple of weeks off the mid-semester break. Thinking about having some downtime. I know a lot of you work extra shifts during the holidays, so there's that. Can someone just put their hand up so I know that you can hear me? Yep, okay, cool, great. Lots of people, good. You can put your hands down now, thank you. Keep your hand up if you want to ask a question, please. Okay, good, I'm just glad you can hear me because you don't know often. So we'll start in 8 minutes, but if you have any questions in the meantime that are of a general nature to do with the course rather than content specific or assignment specific, please put your hand up. Otherwise, I'll be back at 9 o'clock for you. Hi, Peter, just to let you know I muted you, so you can unmute yourself if you like.
Unmute. How much of my phone call did you capture?
Hello, I'm at work. So I said,
That's okay.
I'm going to mute Peter.
Yeah, I'd taken my iPod things out, so I assumed you wouldn't be able to hear me.
Yeah, no, well, we didn't because I muted you, so you're okay.
Thank you.
It's all right.
I didn't mute because I was worried because the recording says it stops if I mute.
Oh, sure.
Which is why I didn't mute myself, but
yeah.
I hoped removing the iPods would do the trick, but it didn't stop recording, so that's good.
That's good, excellent. So Peter, I've just said to everyone, welcome, and that if they've got any general questions they can ask now, but if they have any questions relating to the course content or the assignment, just to wait until 9 o'clock.
Okay, cool.
Is anyone doing anything fun and exciting over the Easter break?
I'm going to be marking assignments.
Awesome, Peter. That's great. Good for you. Oh, Lil Jordan Eschler. Yes, Lil Jordan Eschler. How can I help you?
Good morning. I'm going to the Easter show.
Awesome. What day are you going?
This Friday.
Oh, cool. And is there a specific reason that you're going? Do you show animals or anything?
No, just treat the potential girlfriend.
Oh, potential girlfriend. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good luck with that.
Yeah.
I like the Easter show.
Right. Well, I've got a spare ticket.
I do.
He did say potential girlfriend.
Peter.
I hope you have fun. I'm going to go on Tuesday.
Oh, nice. Are you going with your family?
I'm going with my family, my 2 children, and my husband.
Yeah, your confirmed husband, not potential.
Yeah, my confirmed husband. Yeah.
Very good. Are you going, Peter?
No, I'm kind of tied up with other things, to be honest.
No, fair enough.
Stuck at home, but I will be going out wave skiing as much as possible because I need the practice.
Is that in the ocean or a lake? Probably an ocean because there's no waves.
Stockton Ocean, the beach by Stockton.
Oh, right. Nice.
If you see some guy on a blue wave ski wearing a luminous yellow rash vest and spending a lot of time upside down, that will be me.
I might come out for a look then.
Yeah, do say hi.
Well, enjoy the show, Lil. Jordan Eschler.
Thanks.
That's okay. Is there anyone else going to the show that want to tell me all about it? So, Peter, the show that Jordan was talking about is the Royal Easter Show, and it's held in Sydney annually. It's the agricultural show, similar to what you have fairs in England, I think. But this is the biggest one in Australia.
Oh, okay.
And a secret fact about me. Would you like to know a secret about me?
Oh yeah, several. Besides the greyhounds.
Besides the greyhound, when I was younger, I used to show Suffolk sheep at the shows. So Suffolk sheep, for those who don't know, are meat sheep, so you eat them, and they have the black faces and the black hooves and the white wool, and I used to show them, and they used to win. I had very good quality ewes. So ewes are female sheep for people who don't know.
I used to have a pig called Buttercup.
Oh, how beautiful.
She wasn't very successful as pigs go.
Did you eat
She
her?
had one bonum, which was not really very good. We were hoping for a big batch.
Well, my sheep were very successful.
Hey ho. I sold her in the end. I suspect she got eaten because she was not much use for breeding.
Yeah.
Poor Buttercup.
Yeah, poor Buttercup. That's a shame. Well, my ewes got bred from and then they got sold and so forth. So that's my kind of claim to fame. Yes, Jordan.
How much is a sheep like that worth? Like, you sell them for like $500 or more?
Oh, lots more than that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for good quality breeding sheep. And if the boys, the male sheep, what I call rams, it's been a while.
I thought they were sheep. I don't know. They're all sheep to me.
No, they're rams. The rams sell for a lot of money because you can impregnate a lot of ewes, and they sell for lots of money, a lot more. Even back, I used to show sheep back in the 90s. Even back then, they sold for a lot more than $500.
How much we're talking, like $2,000 or even more?
More now, I think, for a good quality male ram who can, spread his seed and sire lots of little sheeplings or lambs, as we call them. Yeah, a lot of money.
Sheeplings.
Oh, can I remind people that when they're sending messages at the moment, they seem to be sending them just to their panelists. So you might want to change your settings to send it to everybody. I don't know. I'll see if I can change it.
Are you from the country, Jordan?
No, I'm from the ghetto. I'm from Blue Haven.
You're from where?
Blue Haven.
Oh.
Yeah, so
Okay. Well, if there are any other former Peel High School students here, that's me. I'm from Peel High, so just thought I'd do a shout out to all the Peel High School former students. Okay, I might say hello to Emily. Hi, Emily. How can we help you?
Is that Peel High School Tamworth?
It's Peel High School Tamworth.
Oh my God, no way.
Are you from Peel High School Tamworth too, Emily?
I'm from McCarthy in Tamworth. My parents.
Oh, McCarthy. Oh, that's much better than Peel High, but
that's a debate.
That's it. Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, welcome. I like it when I know that there's other Tamworthians around.
Yeah.
Yes, I went to Peel High School until the end of till middle of year 10, then we moved to Queensland. But yes, I'm a Tamworth girl. And where did you go to primary school, Emily?
I was at St Ed's.
Oh, yep. And have you just recently graduated high school?
I finished in 2019, so I had a gap year.
Okay, cool. Well, welcome to the course. I wonder if there's any other Tamworthians around. Do you know of any others, Emily, in the course?
I know of a couple, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a few doing high school. I know that.
Yeah. Good. Well, if there's any other Tamworthians, make yourself known. And if any more Suffolk sheep showers, let me know as well. All right. Thanks, Emily. So we might get started. Actually, it's now 9 o'clock. So I've got my usual slideshow to go through. Feel free to ask questions when you like. And I'm happy to answer those questions as we go along. I will address something though. I saw on the Easy Retro board last week that if someone who's anonymous, so I can't actually follow up with them. I would love it if you put your names with your questions so that we can follow up. But someone said that they've emailed me lots and lots of times, but I've never answered them. So I checked my email and I haven't got any unanswered emails from 1038 or 1048 students. So what I would really encourage you to do is when you email a staff member, check the email address. I know that sounds really simple, but last year I had lots of students who couldn't contact me because for staff member, it's heather.sharp and no E on the end of sharp at newcastle.edu.au. Whereas for students, it's at uon.edu.au, but staff, it's at newcastle.edu.au. So please make sure that you are entering in the correct email address because I'm not sure why I haven't received your emails if you've sent to the correct address. The other option that Peter and I prefer is to send it to the IntroToEd at newcastle.edu.au, because we absolutely get all of those emails and we respond to them really quickly. If you've sent me a couple of emails and you think Heather hasn't replied, pick up the phone and give me a phone call. My phone number is listed on the Newcastle website, and so you can call me because I don't like it if people think that they don't have an answer from me. So welcome to the Q&A session for week 6. It's kind of almost halfway through the semester. You guys have done really well to get this far. Congratulations. I know it's a bit of an uphill battle sometimes, and you're thinking, is this for me? Stick with it, keep coming along every week, keep doing your activities, keep coming to the tutorials, seek out support when you need it. So talking about support, up next in our Building Successful Pathways session, which is hosted by Melanie Innes, we're having the placement coordinator, and of course I've misspelled her name, Angela Layden. So Angela Layden works in the School of Education. We work closely together actually, and she coordinates the secondary placement program. Angela will speak with you about all things prac and take your questions. It's for primary and secondary students. She's across both of them. She's also the Deputy Director of Placement. So it's an important session to have any of your questions and concerns answered. We know you're not going on placement this year. Next year you will. 2186 for primary students, 2196 for secondary students. But this is just a great time to find out a little bit more about what is placement. We know that it concerns students. Sometimes students are really anxious about it because it's a big milestone in your degree. So Angela will help answer all those questions, and also all the kind of administrivia, as I like to call it, that's related to doing a placement. So get onto that Zoom session. And as a reminder, the other supports that we offered to you, which I emailed to you, so this table should look vaguely familiar, even if you can't read it, you go, oh, that's right. So we have the grade out session of those past session, the peer support sessions, to help you with academic literacy. They've got an online session, they've got Central Coast sessions and Callaghan sessions. So get along to those if you can. There's a discussion forum being set up called Pass on our Blackboard site that you can post questions to as well. And all the white rows are the first year experiences sessions, which you can also keep up to date with on our Facebook page. So we've sent lots of reminders about that. But if you type in, FYEUON or first year experiences, it'll come up, and follow along there and you get lots of updates about what's going on. Tomorrow, actually at 5 p.m, I think it is, the Education Society, which is a club run by students for students, are having a session at the Bar on the Hill at the Callaghan campus, and they want to invite first years to come to that. So that might be a good opportunity to get to know students in first year, but also second, third and fourth year, and to talk about what university's like, how you're going, having a chat, and socialising as well. So all that information is on our Facebook page as well. It's a social event. The university's not running it. I'm not running it. It's run by students for students. So get along to that if you can. So this week we focused on equity and diversity. And if you've listened to the little mini lecture that I gave and the other activities, you'll see that we focused on what is equity and diversity. Is equality something different? We looked at education policies and what they say about it. We looked at the Mparntwe Alice Springs Declaration. I looked at the United Nations information about what constitutes equitable schooling. And then we even had a look at Australia and how does Australia compare with other nations in educational equality and equity. So I think this is an important topic for you to get your head around, particularly the differences between equality and equity. And so I've put it's a really common, you probably see this in lots of different courses at university. You see it in the sociology course, you might see it in the behaviour management course, but basically it's a little diagram that points out the difference between equality and equity. So in essence, equality is giving everybody the same thing. So everyone gets a helping hand because everyone gets the crate to stand on, but equity is giving people what they need to be able to participate in society. So there's those differences. So not everyone needs the box to stand up on. Some people have already got that. So that's a kind of a neat encapsulation of equality and equity. Do we have any questions about the course content for this week or even from last week? Okay, Ryan, I'm going to allow you to talk. Yes, Ryan.
I was just curious, in your personal opinion, where schools are at the moment, do you feel that's equality or equity?
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. It's an interesting question. I think it does depend on the school that we're talking about. Schools are really diverse. There's lots of different schools. I would say that education policy probably focuses a little bit more on equality rather than equity, I would say. So when they have things like, when you're talking, when there's private school debates, for example, and about private, every child in Australia should get the same amount of funding for schooling and then they can choose where they want to go to school. We're talking about equality there. We're talking about, okay, every child gets, let's just say $1,000 towards their education and they can choose where they want. And if the parents want to bump up that money, they can. That's equality. But equity says, well, hey, even with that $1,000 voucher, lots of students can't afford to go to Knox School in Sydney, or even the local Catholic school or the local private school, which are a lot cheaper than Knox. So equity would be, we need to give children and young people what they need in order to be as successful and to have the same educational opportunities and outcomes as those people that live in really affluent areas and who go to the really well-resourced schools. But I think it's a very complex issue. It's very layered and it's complicated. If I can be a little bit political, not party political, but a little bit political, is that since about the early 2000s, and there's been pushes for it throughout the years. There was a big push for it in the 1940s. There was a big push for it in the 1980s. And then there's a big push for it in the 2000s, and it kind of was successful, is that the federal government increasingly interferes with state government policies. And so how the federal government does that, because actually education is a state and territory responsibility, it's not in the Constitution, but how the federal governments get around that, and we're talking all federal governments, not just the current one, is that they withhold funding. So in, I think about 2004 or 5, I'd have to look it up, the federal government at the time said we're going to withhold funding if you don't have a values poster put up. And those of you who are my vintage or a bit younger will remember having a blue poster with Simpson and his donkey about the Australian values, which was kind of interesting because Simpson's a bit of a jerk, but anyway, and the Australian flagpole issue. So what the federal government does, say, we won't give you money funding because states and territories get their funding from GST. We'll withhold that from you until you do what we say. So there's that complication now of layering of federal interference, state governance, and then local school decision making. So it is really layered, I think. But aside from my opinion, the United Nations or the OECD, I can't remember which one was in the lecture, have said that Australia is one of the most unequitable schooling systems in the world, because we have the private sector, the Catholic sector, and the state sector. So they say actually it's really inequitable Australian schooling, which kind of is a bit of a slap in the face to us Australians, because I know we think of ourselves as being, giving everyone a fair go. So,
I also recently found out that not all, but at least some private schools are now also receiving government funding, which I thought was the opposition to the entire point of private schools.
So private schools have always received government funding, and in recent years the federal government has increased that funding to private schools so they can get it from a range of different sources. So it is interesting about how schools are funded. But I think that contributes to the inequity. But other people would argue actually that's equality, because everyone does deserve to have their education funded, and if their parents want to top that up and send them somewhere that they choose to, then that's their choice. I remember Julia Gillard, who styled herself as being the Education Prime Minister, who got some appalling advice from Tony Blair's ex-Labor, ex-education advisor, was that she spoke a lot about that, and she thought it was a good idea to have choice. And choice was her big word that she used to use when describing schooling, that parents should have the choice about where to send their students to. So it's interesting. It's very complicated.
Yeah.
But it's good that we're thinking about it.
Yeah.
And if we start saying things like, some funding isn't equitable, we're not bagging out private schools or Catholic schools or some public schools who get a lot more funding than other public schools. So even within the public system, it's not equitable. What we're saying is the whole system seems to have some problems. Let's look at it from a systems approach.
Yeah.
We're not looking at individual schools or individual students or parents who choose because they have the financial capacity to send their children to schools. We're looking at the system organisation.
Yeah.
In Sweden in recent years, Sweden is a very society that praises itself for being a flat society, so not having class structures. Of course, that's not exactly true on the ground, but they are pretty equitable.
No society in the world is truly flat. It's just the reality.
That's true. But in Sweden, they trialed a program where they allowed private schools to come in where they never had allowed that before. And basically, it's been a total disaster. And so they're being stopped now. But, yeah. Well, I hope that helps you, Ryan. We've got a few more people.
Yeah, I'll let you move on. Sorry.
Thanks. No, I appreciate it. And I think other people do too, Ryan.
Heather, can I just throw in, I'm getting questions about whether we're going to talk about the assignment today.
We are?
Can you just give people...
We're going to talk about that next. Thank you. Okay, Kayla, how can I help you?
Hey, last week, a lot of things happened for me, like in my personal life, and I couldn't do like the study activities and the tutorial prep.
Yeah.
Like I'm doing them now, but yeah, I didn't want that to like affect my grade. Like I'm not sure if it will.
No, that'll be fine, Kayla. The weekly activities we don't monitor. They're for you to do in your own time when you're ready to do them. And I know that sometimes life gets in the way, we get a little bit behind. So we want you to catch up on them, which is what you're doing, Kayla, and that's fabulous. So just keep plodding along. We do want you to have the pre-tutorial activities done beforehand because it helps with the tutorial activities. But if you just have a quick word to your tutor this week and say to them, look, I've done them now, they should be able to mark that off for you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And I hope everything's okay, Kayla.
Yeah, it's all good now. Thank you.
No worries. And for a lot of people, last week was a schmozzle, if I can just say it, because of the weather, the storms, the water. So give yourselves a bit of a break. Don't be too hard on yourselves. You know what you need to do to learn. We've got it all set out for you. Do it when you can, please. Yes, Peter.
Yeah, I got questions coming in about how people access the session about placements.
Yep. Okay. I'll thank you, Peter. I'll get to you in a second, Andrew. So the session about the placements, I'll just go back to that. It's the same every week with the Building Successful Pathway. So all the emails that Melanie sent to you, the flyer that I've sent to you, it has the link there. So you can access that link from there and you can access the same ways every week. It's the same Zoom link every week, the same password. We don't change it. And if you go on that Blackboard side, the Facebook page, it's there as well. So check your emails from Melanie. If you're having problems, can you cut and paste? Maybe I'll just cut and paste this into the chat. Do you think, Peter?
Thank you. Yeah, that would be good. Thanks.
And then I'll get to you, Andrew. Okay, there it is, everybody. That's for the 10 o'clock session. Okay, Andrew, how can we help you?
Oh, hi, Heather.
Hi.
Just following up from Ryan, with the Gonski review and the implementations of some of those recommendations, how do you think that that's gone with regards to addressing equity?
I don't really know what's been implemented. I think it's been a bit hazy lately, so I can't really comment on it with proper detail. I always think about Gonski and having a look at what he said about universities could be interesting, but I can't really comment because I'm not sure how much of Gonski has actually been implemented.
Been done. Okay, cool. Okay, thank you.
What's your opinion, Andrew?
Well, I was just thinking, obviously, I don't know, which is why I'm asking. Yeah, in that sense, coming from somebody that's not currently in the system.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it was a huge thing. Gonski for many years, and then obviously governments change and etc.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how much he had to do with regards to ramping up NAPLAN and those national standards, etc., with regards to funding being allocated in those areas as a result of that. So I was just curious, actually, as to that link.
The first Gonski report, I'll get to you in a second, Peter. The first Gonski report wasn't implemented. So then we had the second Gonski report. And it seems that it hasn't really, I don't think it's really been implemented in schools anyway. Yes, Peter.
I was just going to say, I mean, one of the issues about the Gonski report and indeed the subsequent reports is that they talk about all these great things, but then they talk about PISA as being the measure of success. And you have to question whether PISA is actually the best metrics to see if we've dealt with some of the issues to do with equity and diversity within our education system.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you. I'm just going to cut it. Okay. Are there any other questions about that? Okay. What can you guys see on my screen? Can you still see the PowerPoint?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
It's just disappeared, actually. It's gone grey.
Great. All right.
It was there a second ago.
Okay.
While you're sorting that out, we had a great question from a student here, which is, we've said to them that if they're choosing an issue that's not on the list of issues, they should talk to their tutor about it and check it's okay. But we've also said they shouldn't discuss the assignments with their tutors, which I thought was nice.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, I've had a few people email me and ask me about a topic, so I would encourage you. I think it's okay to ask your tutor, is this topic okay? But you're also welcome to email at introtoed@newcastle.edu.au as well, if that makes you feel more comfortable.
We can see the slides again.
Awesome. Okay. So hopefully people are going well with their LinkedIn and their Twitter profiles and making some really good connections with other professionals in the field. So don't forget to update that and to check in on it. I really like that quite a few people have connected with me on LinkedIn, and sometimes it's nice when I get a message from students as well. So thank you for that. And I can see that a few people have logged onto Twitter or connected in Twitter and so forth. So keep up with that. As your degree progresses, you'll see it increasingly relevant to your life about why it's good to have those professional networks. So I guess a few of you have come in here to hear about assignment 2. So by the end of this week, you should have selected a topic for your assignment. We've got a whole heap of ones there for you to choose from. We've got the discussion board forum set up for assignment 2. There's been a little bit of activity in that. So have a topic selected. If you're not sure, email us. And by the end of the week, really looking at which sources to use should be on your radar. So you should be thinking about, if your topic was the Gonski report, you should already be thinking about, where can I get articles from? What would be relevant? What would be good? Typing into Google Gonski report news item and just choosing the first one that you see is probably not a good idea, because you want to choose something that's a little bit meaty, something that you can look at across the whole range of sources that you have to choose from. So I might share my screen now. I might share my Blackboard screen with you so that I can talk you through the assignment and particularly show you where it is. But first of all, Kayla. G'day, Kayla. How can we help you again?
Hey, I can't remember, but in the assessment 2, do we use course readings?
Let's take a look, Kayla. Good question. We'll have a look at that. Just give me a second.
Okay, cool.
Thank you. Okay. Okay. So I'm just going to share my screen again now. Share. Okay. Can you see Q&A week 6 here, the Blackboard site? Peter?
Hang on, I'm looking at something else.
Oh.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, cool.
You can see the Blackboard site. Yeah,
Okay. So to go
it's on
to
announcements.
great, thank you. To go to assignments, I'm going to walk you through it. So we go to assessment, we click on that. Got all this stuff about academic integrity, APA referencing, information about Turnitin, extensions. Assignment 1 done, good. Now assignment 2, we're going to click on assignment 2. So it's due week 10. So we've got a few weeks to go for that. Assignment 2 instructions. Let's take a look at that. I'm going to click on that. And up it comes. So it's worth 35%. And this is what you are to do. So a current issue. Choose whether you are going to focus on early years primary or secondary education for this assignment. Okay, just make that decision. I did have a secondary person contact me and say, I know I'm secondary, but I really want to focus on early childhood education because it's important for secondary people to understand this. I replied and said, yes, that's fine. That's a good idea because I personally believe early childhood is really important for secondary teachers to understand. So you can do what you like, but just make sure whatever you choose, you decide to stick with either early childhood, primary or secondary. Choose an issue related to your chosen phase of education and specify your issue in the template when we get to that. So there's possible ones such as, is the curriculum fit for purpose? Something about NAPLAN. Why is my school website a problem? What are the drawbacks and or benefits of high stakes assessment? How can students work towards reconciliation with Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander students and communities? To what extent do the Australian professional standards for teachers define quality teachers and teaching? Issues about mobile phones, pros and cons of online learning, multicultural and anti-racist education, digital technology, how's education inclusive, how should schools change to make them fit for purpose, when children should start formal education, what is the most appropriate approach to teaching or pedagogy, and the provocative statement, schooling is focused more on the needs of teachers rather than students. So we've got all these kind of issues, current issues, and there could be more that you've come across even this semester that have popped up. So choose a topic. There's some possible ones. If you want to choose one of those topics, go for it. And you don't need to ask, can I do this? Yes, you can. Okay. But if there's another topic that you want to do, please just check in and ask us, and we can reply to you quickly for that. You're not writing a thesis, you're writing an assignment. So don't spend weeks agonizing over the topic. Think about something that might interest you in education, in schooling, pick it and go and start working on it, okay? So then essentially what this assignment is, it's an annotated bibliography. The reason we want you to do an annotated bibliography is it gets you to practice academic skills and scholarly skills that you will use both throughout your entire degree, okay? So it's to get you to look at sources critically. For those of you who are going to be teaching senior high school, particularly, history, for example, you'll be using annotated bibliographies in that as well. So for some of you, it will transfer into your professional career. But at least it will help you throughout this entire degree, because what this course is doing is it's setting you up for how to study, setting you up for how to research for the next 4 years. So part 2, once you've decided on your topic, you're ready to go, create an annotated bibliography. You need to select 6 sources that are directly related to your current issue, okay? So if you decided you're going to do, I'll get to you in a second, Patty. If you decide you're going to do digital technology in education, you're then not going to talk about the My School website. You're going to stick to the topic. So, okay, yes, Patty, how can I help you? Can you unmute yourself? Yep. Hi, Patty.
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yep. So my question is like, even for I'm doing the early childhood and the primary, so I'm allowed to select the questions inside as well, because I'm just worried about I'm doing 2, so my question, should I just do 1, or I probably need to focus?
Choose one topic and relate it to one area. I think, Patty, is a good idea.
Okay. Yep. Thank you.
Thank you. Good question. Because lots of people doing both those. Okay. So the 6 sources that you're to choose, 1 must be a news item. So published from between 2019 and 2021 on any reputable media, and that is of reasonable length and has some depth. Okay. So, for example, an academic blog, which includes links to evidence references, would be acceptable, but a tweet would not. So most of you will get your news item from something like the Sydney Morning Herald, the Australian, the Newcastle Herald, the New York Times, the Economist, the Guardian, ABC News, something that's got a bit of substance to it, not a 2-paragraph assignment, not a 2-paragraph article, not a tweet, something which actually talks through the issue. For those of you who know, Jordan Baker is the education writer for the Sydney Morning Herald. So you might go, oh, Jordan Baker plus NAPLAN. And then you'll know that that's from a, well, arguably reputable media source, but it is Sydney Morning Herald. But that's what we want. We don't want something from the Batuta Advocate. If you do from the Batuta, you'll probably fail. But we want something from a reputable news source. It doesn't have to be Australian. If you're choosing an Australian issue, you probably find most of them are in Australian news sites. And these days it's easy to get a news item. Now, I know you can also have, so for example, Q&A, the actual Q&A show on ABC, they might have a segment on your topic, then that's fine to use as well, okay, because it's a news item. So you're welcome to use multimedia news items. You know, just make sure you include the URL, the web address. So one must be a news item. One source must be a course reading. So that's from the learning schedule list that you've all received. So you must get one from a course reading, okay, and choose that. Okay, yes, Peter. Can I help you?
Hi, I'm doing When Should Children Start Informal Education? Yep. Do all my articles need to be Australian based, or am I able to, if I see something that's, you know, from the New York Times or whatever, can I use that as well? Or should I just focus on
no, sorry, I mustn't have been very clear. I thought I said you could definitely use New York Times, The Guardian, The Economist.
Yeah, no, I heard New York Times. I just wanted to double check to make sure I'd heard it right on my end.
Yep, you've heard it right, and it's always good to check. So yes, you can use news items and news sources from outside of Australia. And sometimes that's good to be able to make your argument. So definitely.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, Matilda, can I help you? Can you unmute yourself? Hi,
yeah.
Matilda.
Hey, so are you pretty much just giving us freedom to search and research ourselves for all that stuff and make sure we found reputable sites and everything ourselves, or is there going to be some sort of guide as to like where we should go and stuff?
No, this is your guide. The guide here, that's your guide. We want you, I mean, if you're not sure what a reputable news source is, you can ask us and we have to answer that. But yes, we want you to, we've given you the parameters. We want you to go out and research. It's carte blanche in that sense.
Okay, cool. Thanks for that, mate.
Thanks, Matilda. So one source must be a news item. One source must be a course reading. I'm just going to put your hand down. 2 sources must be peer-reviewed journal articles that are not course readings. So what we want you to do, that means you can go in the library database, for example, or go through Google Scholar if your computer's at the university. So 2 journal articles that must be peer-reviewed, okay? We know that they're peer-reviewed articles because it'll have that in, if they're an academic journal, they'll be peer-reviewed. And you can get those through lots of databases. I think I provided a link to that. I did actually, in the discussion forum this week, I provided a link to how do I know if it's a peer-reviewed article. So please make sure you're going through the discussion forum for those kinds of questions. So that's that, 2 journal articles. Then one source must be one of the virtual school visit videos from week 8. And one source must be a still image, such as a meme or a political cartoon, infographic, or other similar image that is publicly available. And you must provide a working link to the image with your assignment or include the image in your assignment itself. So 6 sources, 1 news item, 1 course reading, 2 journal articles, 1 virtual school visit video, and 1 still image. So that's how you do it. Yes, Tori, how can I help you?
With the still image, do we have to reference that with the uploading of it?
You do have to reference all your sources, yes.
Yeah, okay.
And the link on the assessment page on Blackboard will show you how to reference a still image.
Okay, cool, thank you.
You're welcome, that's a good question. And particularly if it's on a website, well, that's really easy to reference because you reference it like a website. So using the assignment 2 templates document, which we'll get to, write one bibliography entry for each of your 6 sources. So 6 sources equals 6 entries. So each entry, excluding the reference for the source, because remember, in APA referencing, the reference is never included in the word count, should be 225 words long, plus or minus 10%. So that's for each of them. Each they're going to have 6 times 225. Okay. Now you've done that. You've done your 6 sources, 225 words each. You're now into part 3. You do critical reflection on your issue. So then you write a 450 word, plus or minus 10%, critical reflection on your chosen issue. So this should include an introductory statement about how your chosen issue relates to becoming a teacher. Draw explicitly on your annotated bibliography, so you must refer to it. Provide a well-argued conclusion or summary of your views on your chosen issue and consideration of the literature. Okay, so what we're getting you in that 450 words, and it's not an essay, it's 450 words, okay? It's a couple of paragraphs. You're going to relate it to becoming a teacher. So when we're marking it, we're going to be looking, has this student related his or her topic and the sources to becoming a teacher? And you can imagine that in as broad or as narrow sense as you like. You need to draw explicitly on your annotated bibliography. That means, yes, you should quote from it. That means, yes, you should refer to each of the 6 sources in your bibliography at some stage in that 450 words. And yes, you have to, and within that, drawing explicitly, you're critiquing it. So you can choose articles that you don't agree with, and that's fabulous. So if your topic is something like, let's scroll up here, should mobile phones be banned in schools, okay? And after critically reflecting on the issue, you've decided that they should not be banned from school, but you've got a fabulous article that says why they should be. You should use that. You should choose articles that don't, and sources that don't necessarily agree with your point of view, because then you can use that to critically engage, so to think about and to consider someone else's perspective in your own critical reflection on the issue. Because if you only choose sources that agree with you, and then you've got nothing to engage with critically, you've got nothing to actually say, Sharp 2021 reckons that mobile phones should be banned in schools because they waste everyone's time and they have to be charged all the time. But I disagree because Jeffries 2016 says that they're a good way to engage students in learning. So that's a good way to critically engage with different perspectives, because in education, everyone has different ideas about what should happen. So don't be afraid to critically engage with your topic. Okay, yes, Emily. Hi.
I just want to check where it says provide a well-argued conclusion or summary of your views.
Mm-hmm.
Can we use first person?
Yes, you can use first person. I always say use first person sparingly, because what first person often comes about is then it becomes a kind of egotistical thing, or I reckon this, I think that. So if you can write your sentence and it makes sense without saying an I statement, do that. But when it comes down to the end, it's your perspective, feel free to say, all things considered, I believe, I think that, and that's fine. Okay. But if you're using I's throughout the whole thing, it can get a bit tedious, and you can also actually waste words. So use it sparingly is my suggestion.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And we'll get to Bridget. Hello, Bridget. How are you?
Hi. Good. Thank you. Again, with the conclusion, I just wanted to check, like, do we have to have like a one-sided opinion on it? Like, can we?
No.
You're saying like we kind of still are a bit in the middle?
Yes. You can still be confused. You can still have you can still be muddled about it. We want you to be able to extrapolate the different arguments, but it's fine at the end of it to still be like, you know what?
Like to agree with both parts or parts of both arguments.
Yes, you can agree and perhaps put forward your own suggestion.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Right.
You don't have to take a kind of binary perspective.
Yeah.
You don't have to be this or that. You can, because education is not, in reality, the murkiness of schooling and the murkiness of teaching is that it's not all black and white.
Yeah.
It's often somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. Sweet. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. That's a good question, Bridget. They've all been good questions today, actually. That was a good question as well. You don't have to have some definitive, answer to the world's problems in your first semester of your first year of teaching. But it would be good to take some kind of a stance, not to be completely wishy-washy, but to actually say, I can see the merits of both and so forth. Then you've chosen your topic, you've done your 6 bibliographies, you've done your critical reflection. Now you come to your self-assessment. Assess your responses to the brief against the rubric for this assignment. Highlight the criteria statements that you think apply. So the same as we did for assignment 1. Highlight those criteria that you think apply to your assignment. And in doing so, when you're reading the criteria and you're going, oh, I could have done a bit better there, go back and edit it. This part 4 self-assessment provides a good opportunity for you to self-assess your own work and to be an editor of your work and to go, I'm going to go back and improve it a little bit. Okay, and then we are going to submit as per last time in the Turnitin portal. Okay, don't change the font, the template in any way. Save your file appropriately. Do not submit a hard copy. Same as assignment 1. This is no different. So, what about some guidance? Okay, so we advise you to focus on the phase of education that you are enrolled in, except for if you've explicitly decided not to, and that's fine. And most people would ask me or Peter. Choose an issue that interests you and where there is some disagreement about it or problem with resolving it. Okay, so choosing a topic like, should we cane children? Should we use corporal punishment in schools? That's kind of like a dead and buried issue. It's not interesting. It's done in Australia. It's done. We don't cane children. We don't hit children. So that's not really a topical issue. No actual person who knows what they're talking about currently thinks it's a good idea to hit kids in schools. So don't choose that topic. Choose something where there's a little bit of disagreement, a little bit of argumentation about it. If you choose an issue that isn't on our list of examples, then make sure you check with your tutor or Peter and I for that email address or now that the issue you've chosen is suitable. So that's it. For part 1, choose something that interests you. Part 2, the library provides guidance on how to search for relevant sources. There's a link for you. Access the link. The Pathways and Academic Learning Support Centre also offers support in academic writing. Go to them. Ask them for help. They are there. They are employed by the university to help you, and they are fabulous. They do a really good job. An annotated bibliography entry is basically the summary section at the bottom of a Cornell note. You might find it helpful to use the Cornell note format to make your initial notes about a source and then transfer the summary, where you've done a bit of a critique in it, into the annotated bibliography template in the assignment 2 templates document. So I know that some students did really well in this assignment last year. That's what they did. In fact, they're still using Cornell methods. So you could use that as a prompt for you to then do your annotated bibliography. Don't submit your Cornell notes. Don't submit your drafts. We just want the end product. But that's a way to scaffold your learning to build you up to achieve that. Yes, Peter? Can
I just throw in that the slight difference between a Cornell note and an annotated bibliography item is that in the annotated bibliography, you should be explicitly linking it to your topic, whereas the Cornell note is more of a summary of what the thing says.
Yes, that's a good point, Peter. Thank you. So make sure that in your annotated bibliography, you are actually explicitly linking your topic to the broader topic that you've chosen. So there is a lot of advice about how to do an annotated bibliography. For this assignment, you're expected to be critical. So you should be looking for the strengths and weaknesses in the source relative to the issue you are focused on and your beliefs about effective education. So writing an annotated bibliography, we've got a link there to the UNE information, and I think it's good. I think you should use that as a guide. So we expect you to be descriptive and evaluative, and you'll know what I mean when you access that link. And the Cornell University also has advice on writing a critical annotated bibliography. So you've got advice there. You've got links on how to do it with those examples. The Cornell has examples of it. So that's your model to be looking at as well, okay? Part 3, yes, you are expected to use in-text citation for each source that you refer to in your reflection on your issue. So, okay, so yes, make sure that in that 450 words, yes, you're using in-text citations. So if you quote from one of your sources, you're using the speech marks, the quote marks, you're using the author name, the comma, the year it was published, another comma, the page number, close bracket. So make sure you're following the APA referencing guides for this. It's an expectation for this assignment. It wasn't in assignment 1, but we're building you up. So now it is expected in assignment 2. You're not sure how to do in-text citations? Go to the APA referencing guide that we have on the assessment folder. Go to learning support and get advice from them, okay? Go to the library. There's lots of ways for you to get support at this university to be able to achieve success. So please don't think you're dumb or you're stupid or that they're going to laugh at you. No one's going to laugh at you. We want to help you. And by accessing the support, you're actually helping to keep people in jobs, because then they can say to the university, we've got so many students that need support, we need to keep our jobs, we need to employ more people. So you're helping us as well by asking for help. So part 4, all of the criteria relative to the assignment brief, and the assignment is marked holistically. So we're looking at it all, looking at the criteria and marking it against that. Are there any questions? I don't want to bombard you. We're not going to go to the template today. We're going to do that next time. I just wanted to go over the assignment with you. So choose an issue, create your annotated bibliography, reflect on your issue, self-assess. 4 steps. Okay, if you have time in the mid-semester break, that would be a good chance to select a source a day, even if you have time, and do that 225 words, and then come back and revise. Yes, Matilda.
So with the reflections on each of like the sources that we've chosen, are they going to be like in a specific format of like essay writing format or anything like that?
No. So Matilda, you have 225 words.
Yeah.
So what we want in that is a paragraph, a coherent paragraph with coherent sentences.
Yep, just one.
One sentence.
No, sorry, just one like paragraph. Can it be more if just in
yes,
case?
it can be 2 little paragraphs if you want, or one big paragraph. Absolutely.
Yeah, cool.
Sorry, Matilda. I was like, that's a really long sentence.
Well, you know what? Knowing me, I probably would be able to do that.
Sure, I could do it too, actually. But where's my James? I think I've got James Joyce somewhere here. We're not writing a James Joyce novel, so let's use some full stops, people. Thanks, Matilda.
I know.
Well, can I come in there that if you want to find out in activity 713, we actually take you through writing an annotated bibliography entry. And that's available now. So if you want to go into 713 and work through that, it will give you more information about what you should include and how to structure it and all that kind of stuff.
Thank you, Peter. So good. Go on to activity 713 and have a look at that. And Lil Jordan.
I got a question. It's not really related, but you just mentioned his name, James Joyce. Is he famous for not using full stops or something?
Yeah, James Joyce is an Irish author who lived in Paris for a long time. And he pioneered this approach called stream of consciousness. And he basically wrote an entire novel without any sentences. Without any full stops.
Okay, is it good or is it?
Sorry?
Is it any good or not? Because that sounds like if I did that, it would be rubbish, but because he did it, it's good.
That's exactly right, Lil Jordan. You have hit the nail on the head. I can't find my book. I think it's in there somewhere, but maybe it's on my other bookshelf.
He'd definitely have failed on criteria 2.1.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's so funny that like everyone's now idolizes him. Like, oh yes, it's fantastic. But if I were to do it in uni, they'd be like, "You're an idiot." Don't do that.
That's right. Exactly right, Lil Jordan. So don't be like James Joyce. Okay, be like F. Scott Fitzgerald and use some full stops. No one would publish his book, by the way. So he ended up getting it published by Gertrude Stein in Paris, and she was the only one that would publish his book. So yes, there we go. But everyone who's interested, you can look up James Joyce.
Who's the best novelist of all time, you reckon?
Sorry?
Off topic.
Oh, fine. Well, there you go. Everyone, you have a bit of a literature lesson when you come to my classes as well. Thank you, Jordan. Are there any other questions at this stage about the assignment 2? Rihanna. Hi, Rihanna.
Hi, one of my questions was if one of the articles in the course reading is also one of the ones you did in the previous assignment, is that fine to do that?
Yes, we haven't said no to that. So yes, you can do that.
Thank you.
Thank you. And of course, this assignment, we're looking for something different. So it wouldn't be able to be copied and pasted over. We're looking for that more critical engagement. And Kayla, how you going, Kayla? Still hanging in?
Good, thanks. I was just wondering, with the course readings, are those, like, just confirming, those are the ones only in the course schedule that we're allowed to use?
Yes, in the learning schedule, that was, yep, that is correct.
All right.
I have actually gone through and I've gone through, and now the ones in the course readings are the same as the one in the course schedule.
Yes.
So long as you're looking at the 2021 version.
They
of
are.
course
And I
readings.
went through and tied up a couple more of those. So they definitely are.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Kayla. Okay, any other questions about assignment 2 at this stage? So for those of you who want to go ahead, you can have a look at the assignment 2 criteria and templates, which I'm not going through today because I've explained the whole assignment to you. We'll do that next time we meet. But it is there. You have to download it, and it's basically, well, I can't share it with you right now, but that's where you get it from. So you go to assessment. So again, here's how you find out about APA referencing, information about Turnitin, if you need to have an extension, and assignment 2, and the learning support workshops. So don't forget about the learning support workshops. They're here to support you with everything you do. If I go to the discussion forums quickly, this is where you can ask questions, assignment 2. And someone did ask, I think it was Jaslyn is what I'm thinking about. No, but there's lots of questions here about, here we go, a peer-reviewed article. So what is a peer-reviewed article? That was a great question, Jaslyn, if you're here. And then I'll tell you how do you know whether it's a peer-reviewed article, and there's the explanation.
Can I throw in that it's really helpful when you ask things in the discussion forum, if you put in a useful heading like that, so you give a subject line that makes it clear what your question is about, because then it helps other people to see that you've asked the same question as you wanted to ask.
Yes. So we're getting to the end of our session. We've got 10 minutes left. I'm happy to keep talking and taking people's questions. Yes, Charmaine, how are you?
Hi. So I saw that in the template there was something about like a meme to be put into the thing. So do we have to like, how do we use that in the assessment?
I'm not really sure what you mean. I'm just going to scroll down. And
one of the items that they've got to include, one of the 6 items, is a meme.
It's not it's a still image.
Which could be a meme.
It could be a meme, but it doesn't have to be a meme. It can just be a still image.
Okay. So do we need to like write about it, or do we just need to include it and that's it?
So it's a source from the annotated bibliography, a still image. You have to actually write 225 words about it.
Okay.
Because it's a source just like the other. Remember I said there's 6 sources?
Yeah.
So it's one of the sources.
Yeah.
All so right. It doesn't have to be a meme. It can be a, yeah, I can't see the word meme mentioned anywhere, sorry, in the template. I've just searched for it.
One source must be a still image, such as a meme, political cartoon, infographic, or other similar image.
Fine. Sorry, I thought, Charmaine, sorry, I thought you said template, so I went to the template. Yeah, so it's a still image. So it could be a meme, doesn't have to be, but you need to write 225 words about it, what it's saying about your issue.
Okay, all right, no problems. Thank you.
Did that answer your question?
Yep.
Oh, good. Okay, thank you. I got a little bit confused. Are there any other questions about the assignment or the course content this week? Well, even though I can't see any of you, I hope that you're all doing well with your coursework so far. I hope your other courses are going well as well. Make sure that you reach out if you need some support. We're here to help you. We want you to do well. I hope that you go to Angela Layden's session next, is on between 10 and 11 with that link that I put in the chat for you. Are there any other questions? Tanisha. Tanisha?
I've just joined and I can't see anything in the chat, but I was hoping to join the Building Successful Pathways session next, but I can't find the link anywhere.
Okay, I'll put the link back in for you. It's the same link every week, Tanisha. And it's been shared, like it's been emailed to you by Melanie a couple of times, by me a couple of
Okay, if it's the same one, that's all good. I should be able to find it then.
No, it's there. I've just put in the chat again for you. And so did Brianna. Thank you, Brianna. But it's there as well, but it's the same one every single week.
Cool, no worries. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so yes, Peter.
Just had a question from someone about, are there no Q&A sessions next week or the week after? And that's correct. We get a break.
Who asked that?
A very diligent student.
I know. I mean, I want to know who, because they're going to be in my good books.
It's anonymous. No one's putting their names up here.
Oh, come on, guys, put your names up. Stop being wimps. I want to know who the good student is. Well, yeah, we don't normally have them.
Brianna's getting my prize. She's answering all the questions in the discussion forum. Thank you, Brianna.
I won't miss you too much, Anthony. So yes. Also, Melanie just told me that the link is in the course announcements and were emailed last night as well. So it's the same one every week. So save it in your computer, save it somewhere. But I know Melanie's looking forward to seeing lots of you at the Q&A session in 6 minutes time. Are there any other questions? I'm now just looking at the chat and seeing all the things that I've missed out on because I've been talking. Okay. Well, if there's no more questions and everyone seems satisfied and knowing what they're doing and on the right path, we might wrap up a couple of minutes early, Peter. Do you think so?
Yeah.
So
I'm just copying the message you sent out. You only sent to panelists.
Oh,
so I'm just copying it.
Problem. I've done that again. There, done. And it's also in the on the course announcements and the email Melanie sent to you, and in all the emails that I've sent about first year stuff. I hope everyone has a safe Easter. Please don't do anything silly. Enjoy yourselves. Have a little bit of downtime. Catch up on work. Look towards assignment 2, and do a bit of pick up some James Joyce for a little bit of light reading. All right.
Or read my blog, which is much better.
Or read Peter's blog, which allegedly is much better. Or read my textbook, which does have full stops. All right. Okay, and Anthony's recommending Finnegan's Wake. Thank you, Anthony. All right. So goodbye, everybody. Have a nice Easter. Unfortunately, I'm not a primary school teacher, therefore I don't have a desk full of chocolate eggs from my beautiful students. My desk is very barren and empty. Okay, so goodbye, everyone. Are you still there, Peter? I think Peter is frozen. I'll just hang around for a couple more minutes. So if you have any questions, you can ask me. But thank you, everyone. Thank you for your beautiful messages that you're sending through on the chat. That's so lovely. So, Azel, how are you going?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good.
That's good. I just had a question. So with your 6 sources, they're obviously all going to relate to that one issue.
Yep.
Okay, and then what's the part where you have to I'm a bit confused with the part where you have to link it to something about a teacher. I think it's part.
Yeah, that's the part of the 450 summary.
Yeah,
so you just have to link your topic to what it is to be a teacher.
So it's like NAPLAN.
Yeah, well, NAPLAN is, well, as a teacher, you have to administer NAPLAN.
Okay, so you just talk about that issue. Do you have to talk about any of your sources that you use? That's where you get your information.
Yes. Yep, you do. You talk about each of the sources within that 450 words.
All right, so you want us to mention the 6 sources?
Yes.
All right, no worries. Thank you.
That's all right. You're welcome. Thanks. That was a good question. Okay, well, if there's no more questions, I might leave it at that. And I hope you enjoy Angela's talk next and attend some past sessions this week. All right, so goodbye, everyone. See you later.